Hello. It's been a while. Um, I've been doing some research on some people that I live near, and one in particular, keeps trying to do stuff to me and my family. Now, I did a chart reading on her. She started lying about when she was born and shit to other neighbors and the authorities, trying to make herself older than she was, and she's actually younger than me. Her birthday is January 16th, 1989. That is 3 months difference from me, which my birthday's in March. So I did her reading, and a lot of things started making a lot of sense. Her constant vain addiction and entitlement to try to get other people's resources or manipulate people to give her their resources made a lot of sense. In her second house um, in Lori, uh, that would be the Libby area. She has Libra. Libra in the second house is always like a doomsday thing for most people because you can't really do anything with that placement. Um, Libra has to be in like fifth house or seventh house in order to be of great need. But having it in second house, second house is where your money, enemies, and source comes from. A lot of times, this is what your ideal thing is. Hers is to take from other people, kind of dupe them into doing her bidding, and I myself don't like that. I have my second house in Cancer. My second house in Cancer means that I have soul ties to my family. I learn how to do business from my family. I have, you know, gotten good with saving money from my family, stuff like that. Like normal people wouldn't learn how to do. Like the value of money was taught to me at a very young age. I sold a lot of things in order to help my mom, who was a single parent, stuff like that. Um, but with other people's second houses, it's always contributed to how your upbringing was. Um, with the second house in Libra, it's kind of like it's karma at its finest. Karma from a past life um, will equal out how your soul was in the past lives that you have lived. Um, with her sixth house, sixth house is usually contributed to a career that you would be good at or you would enjoy. She didn't have anything in there. She had an Aquarian placement, but the Aquarian placement was light and the degree was high. It was like probably in the middle around I think it was 24. 24 is a very weak placement for Aquarius. Usually the higher Aquarian marks in the sixth house would be better suited for like careers. But with it in its placement in the sixth house of the North Node, this is her final destination in this life. And it's suicide, alcoholism, or accident in a alcoholic suicide, which is very, very bad. And YouTube doesn't want me talking about suicide and all this, but it's important. In a lot of chart readings, I do talk about this. I've done a lot of chart readings for people, so then they have a better grasp on their lives, so they don't take life for granted. But with like a suicide or alcoholism, um, it's a lot. It hits me a lot harder than it should. But yeah, sixth house in Aquarian is usually a substance abuse problem, or it's a suicide where blood spills out of you. So in context, there's probably going to be a lot of cleanup after that. Um, with with my death, it's going to probably be natural, because my placement in 6th house and 8th house are both symmetrical, meaning that it's a longevity. A lot of people have the longevity mark, or they have the parallel lines, with their two dragons. Usually, you have two dragons that you have to defeat in your life. But usually, if you defeat the dragons, or you admit to yourself that you have a problem and you heal and you find help, usually the two dragons allow you to have longevity and they become a parallel in your chart. Um, with the 9th house, she had in beliefs. Her basic needs have to be built from the real world and real people, not exactly on her own, which I found was very odd. In a lot of people's 9th house of belief system, it usually terms to their religion or their personal beliefs in household, you know. And this is a hard chart for me to read based on the fact that I usually deal with really good people when like they pay for a chart reading, or they're getting married and they want to know like exactly what the numerology and what day they should get married. But with this chart, it's like there's no religion, there's no ruling house, there's no real premise of foundation. This person is just all over the place, believes that she's entitled to other people's resources, entitled to other people's lifestyles, just a total amoeba, just would attach to anybody under any circumstance. And that's probably why her husband didn't want to marry her legally. They just had a celebration. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to look at. And she has a Sagittarius in 4th house. If you know anything about a 4th house, it's where your roots are. It's where you grew up, your family, how you were treated as a child. A lot of people have very strong mother or father figures in their life. They have very strong sense of belonging to that house or to their family. And they have values. They have values attached to their upbringing. With hers, she has Sagittarius in 4th house. A lot of times that placement is very ill at ease or very fire sign related issues in the house. Something that would be more of like somebody's an alcoholic, somebody doesn't want the child there, or the child was unwanted. So she probably felt like an orphan very, very soon after she was born. But yeah, very interesting. With her Scorpio sign in the 3rd house, there's a very odd thing that people in abusive households or with very isolated upbringings do. And in the 3rd house of communication, it's very hard for them to understand how they were brought up and how it's not normal compared to other people's upbringing. Her upbringing kind of gotten to the point of being very uneasy. She couldn't communicate her feelings. She didn't want to communicate her feelings. And it translates into adulthood where she can't understand certain points to an end, or she doesn't understand how work related issues work, or the fact that there is procedure to be, used. Well, my communication is probably one of the best. It has an air sign in it, which would be my Gemini sign. It's my 1st house and my rising. So I love to talk to people. I will talk to people all day. But a lot of times I can't. I have been talking to a lot of people that have been lonely for a while, and I have been giving my resources to a lot of people that need help with finding talent agencies or talking to people that could be potential good fits for mentorship. But I don't want it to come off as like I'm neglecting my channel. I'm not. I like to help people, and I help people a lot. Like I've given people money to get home because they ran out of gas. I've given people some of my resources for lunch, stuff like that, because I don't feel a need like I need it more than somebody else. I feel a need of these people need it more than I do, and then karma will pay me back later. Karma has a silly way of paying me back, but it all works out. But yeah, I don't feel the need like I need anything. I'm one of those people that's always been a guru of some kind. But I always like talking to people. I like listening to people. If I can't help them, I'm going to find them a resource. But I'm not here trying to be Jesus Christ, and I'm not here trying to be the next Muhammad, Buddha, whatever. I'm I'm a real person. I like talking. That's my one thing that I can do. I can take a lonely, sad person and make them happy. I don't like dealing with people like my neighbor who like to rain on my parade. My nickname as a kid was Sunshine because I would talk to everybody and I loved sharing and I loved giving people stickers, and I was that kid in like the shopping mall that had a roll of stickers and by the end I had no stickers, but I was the happiest one, like that's just me. But yeah, I can't deal with negativity. I can't deal with people that are constantly trying to take my happiness away, you know what I mean? And a lot of people will do that to you. A lot of people will see what you're doing, dog it for what it is, and then try to do it themselves, which is totally numbing. It's brain numbing, and it's a constant figure that some people are just advantage takers. And I know a lot of people deal with that every single day. The copycats, the people that just copy and paste. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to see the potential in themselves. They just want to be a clown, and then they want to get paid, and then they want to clown some more. And it's ridiculous. When you work for something, you know the value of what it is, and you understand the work that was put into it in order to make it a success. And nobody can take that logic away from you. All right, I know Mr. Beast was going through that. Some other gamer YouTubers, some beauty YouTubers. A lot of people that are in the influence business get a lot of their good ideas taken by companies, other YouTubers, things like that, and it's unfair. If you're using something, let us know. It's polite. It's not like we're, the content creators so that other people can steal our ideas. And it makes people, it's obvious, and it's shitty business is what it is. Um, with with everybody on the planet, you're gonna have people that take from you, and then you're gonna have people that give to you. And a lot of times there's going to be more takers than givers, but the ones that give to you are true friends. And a lot of times we only see those people for a short time. Okay? And a lot of times, there has to be some humbling of some people. But yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. As a human being, it's a lot. Um, you look back at different generations and you think, hey, they had it so much easier than I do. But yeah, if things were meant to be the same, they would have stayed the same. But we stretched ourselves too thin before, and we're always learning. We're always going to learn, and once you say that you've learned everything, that's when you get the surprise of your life, and it's gonna be a learning curve. Yeah, like in my own life, I dealt with my father being gay and abusive, but like I did a lot of things for me. Um, I made sure I made straight A's in my classes. So then when it came time to pick colleges, just for shits, my science teacher wanted me to apply to Yale and Stanford. Okay, the school I wanted to go to. was unavailable. They didn't want to accept me into their ranks. So a couple weeks later, I got a acceptance letter to Yale and Stanford. The reason why my science teacher wanted me to do this is because I was worried about getting into college. I never went to college. Let's, roll back, but he wanted to make sure that I had the confidence and the know-how to actually make it into college and know that my grades and my work and my extracurricular activities were something that was worthwhile to Ivy League schools. So I have those. I have those every time I feel bad about something or something isn't right in my world. I have taken the SATs twice. I've taken every single ACT test that was offered to me twice. I've taken every one of my tests since the beginning of time twice. And it was because of haters that said that I cheated on tests. And I never did. I probably was the only kid that studied, to be honest with you. I studied science because I loved it. I studied math because I wanted to do the formula over again. I studied language. I studied English probably more than I should have because of my dyslexia. I tried really hard to be somebody I could be proud of in 20 years. Um, it's hard. It's hard for a lot of people to um, feel 100% themselves. Because in this life, you are only 100% yourself when you're in the midst of chaos in your own life. And you know that you're internalizing that whole experience yourself. Is it fair? No. Is it going to happen to everybody? Yes. I've read enough chart readings. I know when people are going to die. I never tell them that. I know how many kids they're going to have or have in their life. I know exactly the moments when you fall in love. I know that. Um, I know the heartbreak you go through when you get a divorce or you get into a breakup. I know a lot of things, but that's because I wanted that knowledge. I always could feel other people. I could feel a cancer patient that was about to get the diagnosis. Okay. I can feel people. It's not a magic trick. It's not fun a lot of times. But when you have empathy for somebody else, you already know. Um, you already know when they're hurting. Okay, empaths, we're very in tune with the earth and how people feel and how the earth feels. When the earth feels off tilt, people are off tilt. If it's swirling around at the speed of light and there's birds singing, animals chirping, just an array of life happening, the world's at peace. It might not be like in the news or anything like that, but a lot of times there's only a second in the day where it's that perfect. Okay. And sometimes the quietest moments are the best moments. So, I wouldn't squander your life. It's over too soon. Especially in this life. And, some people, when they cash out their chips, they're not going to be too excited about repeating lifestyles or repeating certain eras of their ways in this life. God never says what's good and evil 100% of the time. Um, Within reason, everything is as it should be. But a lot of times outside of the charts, your decision for this day is going to affect your next day and your format of life. It's going to constantly make you rethink your last two steps. It's going to make you rethink people that you're around. It's gonna be a solidarity piece. Like this is me going over my enemy's chart reading because I found out what her birthday was, and I needed that. I needed to know, you know, what she was about, who she was. With me, there's a couple pieces in my life where if you read my chart, they're damaging. They hurt. Um, a lot of it, a lot of it would make even a serial killer weep. You know, it's hard. And a lot of things that people that were raised with both parents would think were, you know, off limits or hearsay or whatever. My mom was like, if you can do it, do it, you know, because she never doubted my abilities. She never doubted my decisions. And sometimes you do need a parent to tell you like certain things about living life, you know. And my mom worked a lot. She worked about probably 7 jobs. Um, she was constantly on coffee and energy pills all the time. That's probably why she has health problems now. But yeah, she works a lot. She worked on her engineering degree, worked 7 jobs, and never had downtime. Not even on Christmas Day. She was working. She's worked every single job. She wanted to get her engineering degree um, just as soon as she got divorced. And I said, it's a good idea. There's not many women that go into engineering. So she did that. She became a mechanical engineer. She wanted to know how engines work, how propellers work, how pumps work, how little things work, because she wanted to show us how it worked and stuff, and which piece did what and all this. It's interesting. She even showed us how a spray bottle worked one time, and that was fun. But yeah, she's been science mom. She was never creative mom. She was never mathematics mom. She was never, hey, let's go to soccer practice mom. She was never baking cookies mom. She was science mom. And anything with science, she would encourage. Anything with math, she would encourage. Anything that was worthwhile, she would encourage. Even if it was, you know, the the more risky type of things, because my mom never had time for that stuff. She never had time to experiment or be foolish or just have fun. Um, she wanted us to have fun though. She would always have extracurricular activities for us, or you know, just talk to different people that had different careers than what she would provide as appropriate. But she wanted us to make sure that we were knowledgeable enough to make right decisions in our life. And then when we gave her what we were going to do that day or year or month or whatever, she wanted to know about it. She never judged us for what we were doing. She never pushed religion on us, but she said, you know, it's good to know about Christianity and Judaism and Islam and all this. So we had tutors to teach us all about these things. I had good friends that were Jehovah's Witnesses. I, you know, I had a plethora of religious tutors. Um, I never thought that any religion was better than another religion. I just think it has its peace in there. Like, if you're seeking religious peace, it's there for you, and it will always be there for you. Um, with me now, it's just like I take that with me. I'm just like, you know, I know so much about every religion. I might as well try to live my life a little bit like one of them at least once a day. But yeah, sometimes religion doesn't help certain people. It helped me for a while. It didn't help for too long. Um, I like tarot reading though. My father did too, but um, I like finding things out. I'm always looking for something. I don't know. I'm a little bit more curious than the rest of the world is sometimes. And that leads to a lot of things that are unexpected. Um, I'm overly street smart, yes. My mom wasn't around a lot, so I was overly street smart. My brother had autism growing up, so I was overly street smart. I was overly, like, independent. I was by myself a lot, and I did have a lot of bullies. I had a lot of people that were putting me down for different things, and I just didn't find it as a real draw. I just felt some people are very boring if they're picking on me, and I'm trying to do stuff with my life. I don't really want to hang out with sorts of people that are just in the wake of life, trying to figure out themselves. Um, and that's what I've been doing. I've just been trying to figure out everything. And about spirituality too. I mean, spirituality is not one thing, it's many different things. And it helps if you have an open mind a lot of times. Because you need to understand other people and where they're coming from. It helps to weigh in on different levels of consciousness too when you have a argument with somebody or you have point of reference. It just helps. It helps. It helps to see point of views too. But yeah, it's hard when you're dealing with difficult people that want to stop you from being great or thriving or being vibrant in your own light. Um, I was always taught to be myself, so and I've been thine self for as long as I can remember. I was an independent kid, even as a toddler. I was doing my own thing. But yeah, you have to be yourself. Some people forget about themselves. You can't do that. Life's too short to be somebody else. Be yourself. Anyway, I'm going to see you in the next reading. Or talk, I guess. I hope this helps somebody. Because there's not enough people that talk to people anymore. They always want to talk at you or be overly conscious in their own self. But I hope this helps somebody. Alright? See you later.